Let's start with the bottom, and unfortunately for Wolverine, his shooter assist is just not where you want this man to be. Wolverine's projectile is basically the definition of, you really have better options out there. His shooter assist doesn't give you the kind of screen control that the better shooters provide, and his projectile's hit stun is actually one of the lowest in the game. Community testing has Wolverine's projectile portion at roughly 45 frames of hit stun, compared to 59 for characters like Spider-Man and Blade, and 75 for Green Goblin. And that's an important distinction, because a shooter isn't just about whether the projectile hits, it's about what can I actually do after this thing hits. Wolverine gives you fewer opportunities to convert compared to the stronger shooters, and considering Wolverine's other assist options are just much more interesting, there's really not much reason to waste him on this slot here. So Wolverine is in dead last in the 20th spot. And next up, somehow Wolverine brought in his best friend. Hulk's shooter has basically the same problem as Wolverine. You look at Hulk and think, surely this gigantic green mentally unstable monster man has some sort of gigantic projectile that destroys the screen and leaves his foes cowering in fear due to the lack of defensive options to counter it. Yeah, no. Instead, you get a projectile that doesn't really justify sacrificing the shooter slot to Bruce Banner. And that's especially unfortunate because Hulk actually has some pretty nasty utility in his other assist positions. His vertical and assault options contribute significantly more to what your team actually wants to accomplish. So while Hulk's shooter isn't completely useless, when we're comparing it against 19 other characters, yeah, that's just not enough. Hulk takes 19th place. Black Panther is an interesting case because she is actually a very strong character overall, but this isn't an overall character tier list. We're judging one specific assist, and her shooter is unfortunately held back by one massive problem: startup frames. Her spear takes long enough to come out that opponents have much more opportunity to simply avoid it or get ready to block it. And that's devastating for a projectile assist with a noticeable travel time, because the entire point of the shooter slot is to control space quickly. And if I can see your projectile coming from the other side of the screen, I can just move over, and that's exactly why Black Panther ends up this low. Remember, Black Panther is significantly scarier as a point character than a shooter assist, so don't confuse this ranking with Black Panther is bad. She's not. Her shooter is just good, but not great. 18th place it is for Shuri. Penny Parker is where things start getting interesting, because her shooter assist actually has some useful properties. The problem is that it's a multi-hit projectile, and multi-hit projectiles can create a reliability problem. If only one or two shots connect, you don't necessarily get the same conversion opportunity that you would from a single clean hitting projectile. That's one of the reasons why Penny tends to fall behind the stronger shooter assists. She's not completely useless, but if I'm building a team and asking myself, which character gives me the most universally useful projectile, Penny isn't going to be anywhere near the top of that list. Her shooter can work, but there's simply better tools out there. Penny Parker gets ranked 17th as a result.